What is going on, everybody? My name is Dakota and welcome back to Dakota's Clones. Today we're going to be looking at a summer freshie from Tommy Bahama. This is Maritime Deep Blue. Let's get into it. Alrighty, so this is Maritime Deep Blue from Tommy Bahama. This is not a new cologne, but this is a new bottle to me cologne. I picked this up off of, I think it was Fragrance Net. They were doing a big sale. It was like 21 bucks, so that's too good of a deal to pass up. Jumped ahead of myself a little bit. Let's show off the atomizer. Go ahead and get this drying down. So I'm gonna go ahead and pretty okay atomizer. Kind of a more of a linear shot. Pressure is pretty okay on it. So I'll go ahead and put. I missed the second one, so I'll go ahead and put 3 on there. Right off the bat, you notice a very clean, very fresh, citrusy, not really sweet necessarily, but just a fresh, clean citrus. Pretty nice. Very good summer scent. Alrighty, so as this gets drying down, I will go ahead and go over some of the notes with you. The top notes are going to be bergamot, cardamom, rosemary, and juniper. So whenever you first spray it, you're almost kind of underwhelmed. This isn't a very strong cologne, but the one thing that I picked up on right when I first sprayed it was I think it was the bergamot and juniper berry. So and that blends us into the middle notes. The middle notes of water lily, geranium, and orris. As it starts to dry down more, it gets into the deeper notes of cedar, moss, musk, and patchouli. That is one thing I will say about this cologne is I've had it on, it's been about 10 minutes since I started this video and it's already dried, I feel like all the way down. It's already starting to bleed off just a little bit, but to be fair, I didn't put very much on. A lot of these blue fragrances, you do have to use a little more sprays than you would on, say, your more traditional, eau de parfums, even some of the eau de toilette, some of those, you do have to apply a little bit thicker on these. But as I just got all these notes leveled off and I've shown off the bottle, I'm gonna spin y'all back around. All right, I got y'all flip back around now. To get to some of the feel notes about the deep dry down on this, to me, this has a it's very aromatic, it's very fresh. To me, it smells like a standard blue fragrance. Whenever you think of like almost, I hate to say universal, but whenever you think of your normal blue fragrances, this is what will come to mind as something similar to this. And for the price point, this is very hard to beat. One of the notes that I think I'm picking up on that I seem to like very much is water lily. I tested a different cologne not too long ago and it had water lily in it, and I really liked that one as well. So water lily is a note that I feel like I like a lot. Some of the patchouli in this, it's more of a green patchouli. A little bit of woody, a little bit of like a fresh mix, not really a spicy, but a very fresh mix. You get some citrus, you do get a little bit of that floral, but it's still done well enough to where this is a decent enough cologne, especially for the price point. Speaking of price point, I will get into availability and pricing of these. Availability wise, you should be able to find this pretty much in most retailers and most discounters. Unfortunately, I will say when it comes to pricing though, would not buy this at a retail price. For the performance you're gonna get out of this and for the performance that I'm doing in this video, normally when I transition from showing the bottle presentation to the more of the dry down, as we're discussing now, I tend to lean toward a 15 to 30 minute gap depending on how the cologne is progressing in the dry down. This one got to the dry down relatively quickly, and unfortunately it is relatively weak in performance, but I'll touch on that here in a second. So as far as pricing, your standard retail on this is going to be somewhere between, for the 125, is going to be somewhere between 85 and 90 bucks. If this was a better performer, I might be able to say it would warrant that, but given how light the smell is, given the non-uniqueness of this one, and just given everything kind of presented to you, there's no chance I would spend $90 on this. But at discounters though, and normally you don't see such a glaring price discrepancy either, because like I said, I picked this up for sub 25 bucks. It was cheap. And before this video, what I like to do is, for sake of pricing, promotional codes, everything else, I like to look at some of the discounted sites I look at and see what they're still going for. This same bottle right now is still only going for 27 bucks. That's, when people think of cheap blue fragrances, a lot of people lean toward Nautica Voyage. A lot of people lean toward like Azzaro Chrome, the Bentley. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but Bentley makes one that's supposed to be very good, fresh, clean. I feel like this one could be tossed into the mix just for the price, because it's as cheap as Nautica, and it's as cheap. Actually, it's a little cheaper than Azzaro Chrome, specifically Azzaro Chrome Aqua. Azzaro Chrome's a little bit dated. I feel like Aqua's the newer, fresher take on that, but that could be a whole nother video. For 25 bucks, you can't go wrong with this. You won't miss this. You can douse yourself in this, and it won't break the bank, and it won't hurt you either, because unfortunately, performance-wise, which is going to lead us into our next thing, it is a bit of weaker performer. Projection isn't real good. It's sub 1 foot projection, unfortunately. Sillage it's okay. Again, depends on how much you put on. I normally, in a lot of my other videos, I've said, you know, the standard somewhere for me would be 5 to 7. For me to get any sort of lasting power out of this, I would have to put a lot more than that on. Earlier, and I even sprayed it on the tester strip and my skin, and the tester strip I put 2 on the tester strip, and it is already fairly faint, and it's literally been 30 minutes. Or I've gone nose blind to it extremely quick. I will give them the benefit of the doubt. Normally on fresher scents, people do tend to go a little more nose blind a little quicker. So that could be what's happening here. So at some point, I'll probably go ask my wife. She is one of the best inputters to me on different colognes and different fragrances and stuff, just because I understand that people go nose blind to certain fragrances, and in my case, the bluer fragrances for me, that's kind of where I find myself falling off on. Or the fragrances, unfortunately, just that weak. But for 25 bucks, you can't really complain, because you're getting 125 mils for 25 bucks. So, but longevity wise, like I said, probably an hour. This is an eau de cologne. About an hour, I guess, is all we can expect out of this, but with full retail price does not merit 1 hour on any fragrance. This would be one, it's a summer freshie. Definitely, honestly, I would probably only wear this in summer. Maybe spray a little heavy instead of the 5 to 7. You might put 10 or 11 of this thing on. It's not going to kill you. It's not going to break the bank. So yeah, all in all, I would say if you pick it up at a discounter's, definitely worth a buy. Definitely worth having. I mean, a fragrance that cheap, you can't really go wrong with unless you just hate it. And there's a lot to like about this cologne. It does smell very nice. It's very clean. It's very fresh. It's citrusy. You get a little bit of woody in there. Now, I mean, and it's a fragrance that you could get behind. Now, if they would up the potency of this and say they turn this into an eau de parfum or an eau de toilette or something like that, and you could get the staying power on this to last 3, 4, or 5 hours, then yeah, I would say this would definitely be worth 70 bucks. If the scent profile that you get when you first put it on your skin, if that was still there several hours later, easily worth $70. It's just, unfortunately, that's not the case with this particular fragrance. So yeah, so don't be scared to buy this. Don't be scared to wear this. It does smell good. It will get you compliments. Fresh colognes always get compliments. So yeah, that is going to wrap up today's video. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you everyone for subscribing. Thanks for everyone who sticks around this long into the video. I've said it before and I will say it again. I will always appreciate feedback, good or bad. Negative feedback still helps the channel grow. Tell me things y'all want to see. Leave me some colognes y'all would like to see me review, go over. But yeah, any feedback that I get, I will always appreciate. I'll always use that to try to make the channel as best as I can make it. But that's going to wrap up today's video. As always, thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time.